Yo guys, what's up? Today we're going to look at the 5 worst foods that type 2 diabetics must not be eating. So if you're eating these, you better stay tuned to check out why you shouldn't and what you should be eating instead. All right, so Uriel came here, guys, New York Times bestselling author, renowned holistic nutritionist, and health experts, and here to help you make your life healthier, fitter, and more prosperous. So just kind of hanging out on the standing desk today. If you don't have a standing desk, it's actually really awesome instead of sitting all day. But anyways, that's for another discussion. Today we're going to look at the 5 worst foods for type 2 diabetics. And I would say these foods actually should kind of cross over into even healthy people's lives as well in terms of removing them from, your diet. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. So the number one thing we want to avoid obviously is sugar. That's no surprise. If you've got type 2 diabetes, or if you're pre-diabetic, it's because your blood sugar levels are a little bit high, your insulin is not really doing the job, your cells are not responding to insulin, and that's not a good situation. If we let this get out of control, what's going to happen is this. You're going to have elevated blood sugar levels that becomes very dangerous, that could eventually cause things like diabetic retinopathy, where you go blind, or you get your feet or legs amputated due to diabetic neuropathy. That's what happens with excessively high blood sugar over a period of time. So let's avoid that. So let's not consume any sugar. Okay, so I'm talking with table sugar, maple syrup, stuff like that. Okay, the added sugars, but also looking at sugars in the form of like pastries. So cupcakes, muffins, cookies, cake, all that kind of stuff is just packaged sugar, if you will. So we need to really avoid that. So that's the first thing. If you need an addition to sweeten something, what I would recommend is xylitol. Xylitol has 0 calories and it has no nonsense like aspartame and stuff like that. It's actually really good for your teeth. It's actually been shown to prevent cavities. So that's a really good, a natural sweetener that has 0 calories, is not going to spike your blood sugar, and is a great alternative to some of the other stuff that's is more common out there. So that's the first thing. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat today. I apologize for that. Second is we want to avoid inflammatory foods, and I'm just going to break that down for a second. So basically we want to avoid wheat-based products. So breads, cereals, pasta. And the reason for that is because, again, no matter if they're white or whole wheat, they're going to be broken down very quickly. They're going to spike your blood sugar. And because they contain gluten, gluten is going to increase inflammation inside your body. And inflammation is one of the leading causes of type 2 diabetes that most people don't think about, because what it does is it actually severs the communication between insulin and your cells. So your cells don't actually respond to insulin anymore. That's known as insulin resistance. What we want to do is create insulin sensitivity, so your cells actually take up the sugar coming out of the blood with the help of insulin. So instead of having breads and cereals and pastas and so forth, what you may want to consider doing is, if you still have to have that stuff, is look at alternatives like quinoa, right? Quinoa is a beautiful non-glutinous grain, high in protein, doesn't spike your blood sugar. You can look at quinoa pasta. We can even look at things like brown rice pasta. So there's some really good alternatives out there. When it comes to bread, you can look at alternative breads on the market. There's potato flour breads, although potato flour may not be the best option for type 2 diabetics. We can look at some of the bean flour breads. But again, I would suggest that you kind of look at why you're eating bread in the first place. There's really no nutritional value. It's simply a matter of habit. Sandwiches, toast, stuff like that. So wheat-based products, we want to remove those. Number 3 is caffeine. Now, caffeine, the reason I recommend removing it as someone with diabetes is that caffeine, what it's going to do is it's going to stimulate your adrenal glands, which are 2 little walnut-shaped glands that sit on top of your kidneys to secrete adrenaline. And what adrenaline does, and cortisol as well, they're stress hormones. What they do is they're going to break down stored sugar into your blood. So they're going to raise blood sugar levels even more, and that's not what we want. Plus, caffeine is just, there's really, I don't think, many health redeeming qualities of it. If you're drinking coffee, switch to a Swiss water decaf. Better yet, switch to drinking a green smoothie. It's a lot better off for you, okay? That's the third thing. Fourth is we want to stay away from these vegetable oils that are very high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Now, if that's a mouthful and you're not really sure what that is, it's pretty straightforward. Just avoid oils that are canola oil, soybean oil, and corn oil. Those are the three most common oils used in fast and processed foods, and they're very high in omega-6 fatty acids, which we have too many of in our diet already, and those create inflammation. So we want to steer clear of those at all costs, okay? Instead, you want to be consuming healthy fats, healthy oils like olive oil, avocado oil, fish oil, algae oil, flax oil, hemp seed oil, coconut oil, or butter. Those are all really good fats that you have nothing to worry about. Cool? And then finally, we want to remove the use of sodas, juices, liquid sugar, okay? So fruit juices, pop, all that kind of stuff we want to get rid of. And the reason I say that, if you think you're drinking orange juice and it's actually good for you, I'm here to tell you that it's not. And the reason for that is because most fruit juice has the same amount of sugar, like serving per serving, as Coca-Cola. I've done the math and it's not very encouraging. So the problem here is that if you're having apple juice or orange juice, so there's two types of sugar in fruit. We've got the fructose and we have the glucose. Glucose is what's going to spike your blood sugar, right? So that's not good. Fructose can't be used by the body. So it has to go to the liver first, which is right here, and your liver has to work really hard to convert it into glucose. But in that process, the liver ends up spitting out these byproducts called triglycerides that can get stuck in your liver, leading to something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it also spews the worst type of cholesterol, known as VLDL, into your bloodstream. So fruit juice, pop, soda, whatever, please remove it. Here are the two alternatives. Drink water. That's pretty simple. If that's not sexy enough, here's what I'd recommend. If you need that fizzy, bubbly feel, is grab some sparkling water, Perrier, so forth. Add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into 2 cups or so of the sparkling water. Apple cider vinegar, I've created another video on that specifically for type 2 diabetics. Amazing. You have to be including this, okay? So 2 cups of fizzy, bubbly, sparkling water, about a teaspoon or 2 of apple cider vinegar, and then squeeze the juice of about 1/4 of a lemon in there. It's an absolutely amazing digestive and healing tonic, and it really satisfies that urge for that fizzy pop type of feeling, okay? So those are the 5 foods / groups I would recommend you avoid, and those healthy alternatives. And if you want to take things to the next level and really conquer your type 2 diabetes, I've got a great resource called the Diabetes Debacle, and it's a great report which will show you some of the nonsense that doctors aren't telling you about when it comes to medications, some of the contraindications and side effects, and it'll also give you some really natural alternatives that are safe and effective to help you get a better handle and reverse your type 2 diabetes. Now, you can grab that for free, just as my way of saying thank you for watching this training video, because I care about your success, I care about your health, that's why I do what I do. And you can grab it by clicking on the link somewhere on this video or in the link in the description below. And while you're here, remember to subscribe to the channel. There should be a little button here, you can click on that. I've got tons more great training videos coming your way to help you live a healthier, fitter, and more prosperous life. And for now, thanks so much for taking a few moments out of your day to join me. I'm Yuri Al-Kaim, and I will see you very soon.